Fred de los Santos, Representative Francisco Jose Matugas, Representative Toby Chanco, Representative Alfred, Representative Faustino Inodi, Representative Ricardo Cruz Jr., Representative Dan Fernandez, Representative Christian Navia, Representative Romeo Acop, and Representative Antonio Ferrer.
Resource persons. For the resource persons.
For our resource person from KBP, we have Attorney Rudolph Steve Hularbal. From the MTRCB, we have Attorney Cesar Pareja. From the MTRCB, we have Attorney Abubakar Johari and Mr. Bobby Diciembre from NTRCB as well. We have from NTC, the Deputy Commissioner Alvin Blanco. From SEC, we have the General Counsel, Attorney Ronald Padilla and Attorney Gerard Del Rosario. And with them, we have Attorney Mazer Martin Tarnell. From the SMNI, we have Attorney Mark Tolentino, Attorney Rolex Suplico, Ms. Lorraine Badoy, and Mr. Jeffrey Celis. Oh, may we also recognize Honorable Lex Anthony Collada, a member of the committee. And we also have from NTC, Attorney Andy Castillar. And also we invited again Attorney Rico Domingo from the MAD. Thank you. Thank you.
David J.J. Juarez.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, I just want to start off from where we ended last hearing with regards to the news that Jeffrey Celis mentioned in their program. Mr. Celis, are you with us today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. When we ended our hearing last week, the statements I released was that we were treading in very dangerous grounds as the source, the resource person mentioned that his source emanated from the Senate. And I felt that it was important for us to determine who that source was, because it was also determined in last hearing that the statements issued by Mr. Celis in his program was false. And if indeed it is from the Senate, interparliamentary relations between the House and the Senate are now put in question. Because parang lumalabas, may nagli-leak ng hindi makatotohanang balita mula sa Senado patungkol sa House of Representatives. At nung December 3, if I may be allowed, Mr. Chair, Senate President Subiri issued a statement. And if I may be allowed to read, he stated, "I have no knowledge whatsoever of anyone from the Senate leaking information to any reporter on any House matter. Until the concerned resource speaker names a Senate employee, there is no reason to believe that these allegations are anything more than intrigues being sown to create controversy and fake news. We respect interparliamentary courtesy and would not want to put a rift in the strong partnership that we have with the House, with the leadership and the members of the House. I would suggest that the House continue their investigation until they get to the bottom of this accusation and press for the concerned person to reveal the name of their alleged source in the Senate. Otherwise, the House can cite them in contempt. If they can prove it's an employee of the Senate, then we will initiate disciplinary action on those involved. Quote unquote from Senate President Miguel Zubiri. So now, Mr. Celis, I would just like to reiterate my question. The source, please.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of this committee, may I be allowed, please, to manifest a statement of clarification before I proceed to answer the question of Honorable Congressman J.G. Suarez, because I believe that the statement that I am going to make as an opening premise to the answer that I should be giving to the Honorable Congressman will settle everything and clarify before the nation a very important statement that I want to make. Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed, please?
Before I allow you, I'd like to remind everyone that your oath
Yes.
has been administered in the last session, and this it will continue up to today.
Yeah.
So you're under oath.
Yeah.
So lahat po sabihin po natin ay ang katotohanan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Honorable ako.
meron pong katanungan si Honorable Suarez, di po ba?
Opo.
Hindi ba dapat sagutin lang ng resource person or witness yung katanungan muna
Okay.
bago siya mag-explain? Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the reminder, Congressman Acop, sir. And to the members of this committee, I feel, and it is my right to state before this committee and the August Chamber of Congress, that this committee is not above the law. No one in government is above the law. We are a government of laws. I am protected under the SOTO law. I have the constitutional right. I requested per record that I may be given competent advice and assistance of a legal counsel. It is also stipulated clearly in Section 12 of the governing House rules pertaining to committee hearing and conduct of investigation. And even if I am not in a court trial, the right to seek out counsel advice and assistance from a counsel is a part of principle of due process, a principle guaranteed by the Constitution. And I believe before I answer any further question, may I manifest respectfully and humbly before this committee that all the statements, even after under oath, in the absence of competent legal advice and assistance previously, maybe my constitutional rights were
Mr. Chairman,
violated.
point of order. The answer manifestation of Mr. Celes is out of order. Mr. Chairman, he is out of order because you cannot dictate in this house and you cannot move. Only members of you ask members of this house.
Yes, I am explaining, sir.
No,
I am not moving.
no, your manifestation is out of order.
I am
Do
requesting.
not picture us.
No, I am
about
not
the rules
lecturing.
of this
I am
committee.
standing up for my right.
Mr.
I am standing up for my right.
Remember, we might cite you in contempt.
And so be it,
Kyle?
Your Honor.
You challenge us?
Yes,
Sorry.
if
What's
that
the
will
question,
be
Mr.
sin in the
Chairman?
nation na walang karapatan ang mga invited guests dito na magpahayag, Your Honor, with due respect to you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
I'm for an out of order. And what's the position of the chair?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Chair,
Sandali lang po.
Mr. Chairman,
Eric,
may I explain why I
yes, the Honorable Akop is recognized and I understand yung sinasabi po ng ating mga ng ating bisita. Pero alam po ninyo, kung ang ginagamit niyo po ay yung hearing nung huli at wala kay representasyon, hindi po namin kasalanan. Kasalanan po ng mga abogado ng SMNI dahil sila mismo on record ang nagsabi na they are here to represent SMNI and not the anchors because dumistansya nga ho sila. Ang sabi nila, hindi po namin trabaho ang bigyan ng representasyon ang angkor. That's why nung humingi po kayo, ang pinaliwanag ko, hindi ho pwede sila magdepensa sa inyo. Dapat ho humingi kayo ng iba. Dahil hindi ho pwede sila ang magdepensa because they are on record. Under oath, ang sabi nila, kami abogado ng SMNI at hindi kami abogado ng mga angkor. Klaro po yan, Kyrick.
Your Honor, if I may please.
You cannot. You're not allowed. I'm going, yes.
To explain why I cite him out of order. Because he manifested that the previous records, it is taken out of records, and as resource person, they are not allowed. For
Your
that.
Honor, I am
Re-
going to be
I am
detained
still
in this
taking-
chamber, and
I
I am
am-
submitting myself before the country in protest my
Correct!
Mr.
Laban!
point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Contempt!
Mr. Chairman,
Contempt!
point
Yan
of
ang panahon
order.
nyo. Ayan,
Chair,
contempt. Sige.
Mr.
Oh.
Chairman.
Ayun na.
Order.
Nagkuha kayo ng resource person tapos ayaw nyo pagsalitain.
Mr. Chairman,
Kayo ang
Okay.
bastos eh. Sige, contempt na, contempt. O, tapos
There's
na.
a point of order, the Honorable Dan
Puro kayo point of
Fernandez.
order. Puro lang naman
The
kayo dyan.
Honorable Dan.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Ngayon, alam nyo na kung ano talaga, kung sino ang leader.
out of
Ganyan
order
ang
is
ginagawa.
also your manifestation to straighten out. Patapusin mo
Ayun.
The
ako.
Honorable.
Huwag ka may bastos. Patapusin mo ako. Mr. Chairman, I will just like to correct. I am not stopping him to issue statement. What I'm saying is, and what I'm pointing out over there is the manifestation that the previous statement, the previous record should be taken out of order.
Mr.
And
Chairman,
Mr.
Mr.
He's
Chairman.
not allowed to do it.
Point of order.
Honorable Dan Fernandez. So the point of order.
May we remind the resource speakers and the members of this committee to observe the proper decorum.
Correct.
If the chairman acknowledge a certain personality, let him speak and
Yes.
don't interrupt the
Correct.
members of this committee while
Correct.
the member is given the right to speak. Maraming salamat po, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you, the
Mr.
Honorable
Chair.
Dan Fernandez. Honorable Akop is recognized.
Sandali lang, sandali lang. Alam nyo kasi, pasintabi na po sa inyo mga congressman. Masyado po kasi kayong power tripper. Pasintabi na po Kukuha kayo ng resource person. Tapos pag nagtatanong kayo ang gusto nyong sagot sa kanila, ang gusto nilang sagot sa inyo, yes or no lang. Eh paano mapapaliwanag sa inyo yung katotohanan? Kung ayaw nyo naman pasabihin, hindi ka pwede sumagot. Your point of order, point of order. O nagamo kayo ng contempt, o yan, pinalagang kayo. Akala nyo kasi lahat masisindak nyo. Yan ang gusto ng liderato nyo na nagpapatakbo ng Pilipinas. Mga buang na to. Di kayo mahiya.
Mr. Celis, please be reminded that in this committee and this house, we have rules to follow. Hindi
Yan ang masakit, yung mga rules to follow, rules to follow. Pero yung paninikil nyo doon sa resource person, hindi naman siya yung hindi naman criminal yan kung Ayaw nyo pagsalitain. Gusto nyo kayo-kayo lang lagi. Anong mangyayari dyan sa hearing na yan? Alam naman ng karamihan dito na ang gusto nyo talagang mangyari, tanggalin ang platform na kung saan pwedeng magsalita ang dating Pangulong Duterte. Tita Yoli, sige po. Cool na ako. Panoorin na lang natin, di na ako imik.
po ba namin sinusunod yung mga rules? Matanong ko nga po.
Yes, sir. I feel
Oo,
that
and
is my.
I would like to remind you
Mm.
that these rules are supposed to be followed by members of this committee and by the witnesses or resource persons to be present. And one of these rules is that before you can speak, you ask permission from the chairman. Kami nga, hindi kami nagsasalita na walang permission yung chairman. You better follow that rule. Otherwise, baka mapilitan akong gawin yung hindi ko dapat gawin. Thank you.
The
Your Honor.
Honorable,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
wait, I think the Honorable Ace Barbers.
I was raising a point of order earlier, but
I'm
Congressman
sorry, I
Ako-
didn't hear you that.
It's
well.
okay,
My
Mr.
apologies.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, kasi gusto ko lang i-refresh yung memory ng ating resource person na no one is curtailing your right. In fact, kaya ka nga nandito, binibigyan ka ng panahon, ng oras para magsalita. But do not play to the crowd saying that your rights are violated in this committee. It's not. Tayo ay nasa demokrasya, di ba?
Kung Ace Barber, sabi ko, hindi na ako sasalita eh. Hindi nyo kinokortel. Inimbitahan nyo siya dyan para magpaliwanag. Eh kung sa inyo po, yan po ang pananawin nyo, eh maganda po. Pero yung mga katabi nyo po dyan, lalo na si Akop, hindi niya masabi yung contempt kasi sabi nga ni Eric, contempt nyo ako. Oh, so be it, makulong. Eh yung mga yan, puro lang, no. Yes or no lang. Yes or no lang. Eh si Ace Barber kasi, okay naman yan. Wala tayong against dyan. Dapat ipaalala nyo po yan dyan sa mga katabi nyo na puro tagahimod ng wet packs ni Speaker.
I believe you were a former member of the NPA. Di ba? And alam mo kung ano yung pinaglalaban natin dito, di ba? So, never, ever insult the committee, much more any of the members of this committee. Kasi medyo yun ang affront. Yun ang affront sa amin. And do not challenge us to do what we feel is right to do to you because you might not like it. I am just going to remind him of that, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
The Honorable Ace Barbers. Any
Mr.
other
Chair.
member that would like to speak?
I believe that this is an aid or an inquiry in aid of legislation, and resource persons should be reminded that they should observe proper
Correct.
decorum. I'd just like to remind all the resource persons that under Section 11, this inquiry, or for that matter, Congress has the power to contempt. The committee may punish any person for contempt by a vote of 2/3 of the members present, there being a quorum. And there are 6 grounds for contempt. One of which is letter E, acting in a disrespectful manner towards any member of the committee or any misbehavior in the presence of the committee. So, Mr. Chair, we do not want to cite a resource person for contempt. Kaya nakikiusap kami sa iyo, ka Eric, na kung pwede, please respect this committee and observe proper decorum. Nasa rules po natin na you cannot speak if you are not recognized by the chair. Actually, naka-strike 1 na po kayo, ka Eric. Kanina, you were not recognized by the chair but you kept on talking. So again, may I advise ka Eric, we are not suppressing your rights, but also respect this committee and observe proper decorum.
thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I may continue.
There was a question raised by the Honorable Suarez. Alam po ninyo kay Rick, kung meron po kayong karapatan, may karapatan din pong committee. Lahat po tayo may karapatan dito. So ang tanong ho, yes or no? May tanong ho si Congressman J.J. Suarez, huwag na ho natin pahabain. Yes or no?
I will refuse to answer, Your Honors, not because I disrespect this committee, but I will invoke my right guaranteed by the Constitution because I believe this committee cannot be above the law, especially the Constitution. Mr.
Can I just
The Honorable
raise,
J.J. Suarez.
Yes. What right is that you are invoking, Mr. Celis?
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees me for the guarantee of due process and even the Soto law and even the House rules.
Yes.
Constitutionally guaranteed rights, Your Honor, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, cannot
Mr.
be violated by any branch of the government.
Ka Eric, may katanungan. Is that
Mr.
clear?
Mr. Chair-
Alam po ninyo, ka Eric, meron ba kayo kasamang abogado na yun?
May I answer?
Opo.
That's why I am requesting since last hearing that I may be given the counsel. Now
Alam po
I will
ninyo,
hire.
Alam mo, if you keep going back last hearing. Ang tanong ko na yun.
I will hire
Wag-
Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico as my personal choice
Okay.
to do
So,
legal counsel. for
Everything
me.
that you say now is guided by your lawyer, who's
Yes.
also here.
Not yet, sir, because they are not, Mr. Chairman, permitted and granted authority to be recognized as my legal counsel. That's why I'm requesting. I'm hiring today, this afternoon, Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico.
Are the lawyers accepting that mandate? Because you remember, in the last hearing, you manifested that you are not representing Eric and the anchors because of the disclaimer issue. Are you accepting,
I'm accepting, Your Honor.
Attorney Rolex Suplico?
I am accepting, Your Honor.
Okay, so thank you very much. So everything that will be say, go, no ka Eric, may abogado na po kayo. Yes or no?
May I request again,
Yes.
Congressman Honorable J.G. Suarez to rephrase the
Mr. Chair.
question,
Ayun.
please.
Now with the presence of your lawyer, it's just a little bit ironic that in the past few days you've been on air talking about the hearing, talking about your opinions on about the hearing, and together with Attorney Mark Tolentino, I think there was a few episodes na magkasama pa kayong dalawa. So you're very vocal and you're very opinionated about your position. And last hearing, I just want to remind you, you apologized to the committee because the statements that you issued in your show kasama ang bayan, tama po ba 'yon?
Yes, Your
Laban
Honor.
kasama ang bayan. Humingi ka man ng paumanhin dahil yung sinabi mong 1.8 billion ay walang katotohanan. Inamin nyo yun. Ngayon, sinabi mo ang source mo ay galing sa Kongreso. Sinabi ko mula sa House of Representatives, ang sabi nyo po ay hindi po House. Dalawa po yung House, Congress at Senate. Sinabi nyo, kinonfirm nyo na lalaki na taga-Senado. Ngayon po, naglabas na po ng statement, mismong Senate President na ang nagsasabi, hindi na ito nanggagaling sa amin, although I am pressing hard that I want you to reveal that source because we want to find out the truth. Mr. Celis, the truth, and nothing is more important than the truth. So I'm asking you nicely, who is your source?
May I qualify, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to speak?
Yes, but before that, I'd like to remind you and the lawyers that under Section 13, the participation of counsel in this hearing for the witness during the hearing and while the witness is testifying shall be limited to advising the legal rights of the witness. Is that clear, Attorney Tolentino and Attorney Suplico?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
That will only limited to that. Wala ho tayong coaching dito, ha? Yes. Eric.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the recognition.
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Suarez, sir.
Please answer straight
Yeah.
directly, ha? Wala ho tayong paligoy-ligoy na sagot ho dito.
Mr. Chair, can I something?
Okay.
Can I say something
Yes.
before you proceed?
Point of
you.
order.
Yeah. No,
Go ahead.
no.
Please.
Just want to be enlightened. What is your decision regarding the prior motion made by Congressman Paduano on
Well, the
There's a
was
motion, there's a
point of
motion.
order.
no?
He only made the point of order. So he was
Okay.
declaring him out
Thank
of
you,
order.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes, proceed. Yes or no?
Yeah, thank you po, Mr. Chairman.
Please answer directly, ha? Huwag mo tayo masyadong lumayo.
I will not answer it because I am protected by law as per advice in conference with my lawyers here. I am protected by the SOTO law. Unless the SOTO law is repealed, I will be under the protection of the SOTO law. Republic Act number 53.
Mr. Chair. Okay.
And the previous statements made, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, please, were made without the competent advice of legal counsel. That's why I was requesting humbly for this honorable committee chaired by Congressman Tambunting that all those testimonies regarding the testimonies I made here can be stricken off the record if it may be considered as a request.
Mr.
Because
Chair.
those are inadmissible.
Ang tanong po, alam nyo, lagi nyo sinasabi yung Sotolo eh. Ano pong portion ng Sotolo ang tinutukoy ho niyo? Anong particular provision sa Sotolo? Pakibasa po.
I will, Mr. Chairman, I will request my counsel to give me the particular provision, or they may be allowed to reference the
No,
particular
we are
provision.
requesting you.
I don't have the copy of the SOTO.
Then I will suggest that the council give him a
Yeah.
copy of the Sotolo. Because we do not, you're only supposed to, like I said earlier, hindi ho kayo pwede magsalta. Yan magsalta si Eric.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to read the pertinent provision from the SOTO law? Without prejudice, this is section 1 of 1145 as amended. Without prejudice is inability or ability under the civil and criminal laws, any publisher, owner, or duly recognized or accredited journalist, whether reporter, writer, contributor, opinion writer, editor, columnist, manager of media, or other media practitioner involved in the writing, editing, production, and dissemination of news or mass circulation of any print, broadcast, wire service organization, or electronic mass media, including cable TV, television, and its variants, cannot be compelled to reveal the source of any news item, report, or information appearing or being reported or disseminated through other or the said media which was related in confidence or reported in confidence. Above mentioned media practitioners, unless the court or the House of Representatives or the Senate or any committee of Congress finds that such revelation is demanded by the national security of the state.
Eric,
Your Honor,
pero may magtanong
Mr.
po, Chair, para ho maliwanag.
Mr. Chairman, can I explain the
No.
provision?
I will have to answer first the position raised by the witness. Ang unang sinabi nyo, accredited journalist. Kayo ba'y accredited journalist? Kay Eric, kayo pong tinatanong po. Kayo po ba'y accredited journalist?
The accreditation or the license to practice journalism does not require any particular organization or government entity to give us license or accreditation for broadcast. If you are referring, Mr. Chairman, to KBP, membership to KBP is voluntary. KBP is not an absolute regulatory power for broadcast.
So ano
We are like an NGO and private
ano
organization.
pong basihan nyo, basihan ng provision niyan, nung sinabi niya kailangan accredited, kayo nag-cite ng batas. Kayo nag-cite ng prohibition.
Mr. Chairman,
Accredited journalist, hindi ho kayo, sino dapat mag-accredit sa inyo?
Smni is an accredited and franchise granted media. And therefore, the prerogative in the decision for editorial decision who can broadcast or cannot broadcast in their station rests with the franchise granted to them. Therefore, hindi po kami required na maghingi ng pahintulot sa gobyerno na mag-broadcast kami doon. Dahil kami po ay bahagi ng isang media organization na may legitimate existence as granted by franchise.
Yes, but remember, may disclaimer. Ang sabi ng SMNI, hindi po nila pananagutan ang gagawin nyo. At hindi na nga raw kayo empleyado, sabi nila. So, ergo, hindi ho namin agad-agad kaya tanggapin yung inyong mungkahi. Pangalawa, I would like to remind you that this is a house inquiry which is provided for by the SOTO law. And third, tatanungan ko, security of state, binanggit nyo. Ano po ibig nyo? Ito ba yung security of state? Tingin nyo itong issue to? Which is an exception?
Ang 1.8 billion na pagtatanong ko po, Your Honors, Mr. Chairman, ay hindi po threat to national security. Kapag ito po'y tinatanong ng mga media practitioners at ng mamamayan patungkol sa tamang pangangalaga sa pundo ng bayan. And I believe Congress is not exempted from public transparency and accountability in the disposal of public funds.
Alam po ninyo,
Thank you,
It's not an issue
Mr.
of
Chair, I
public
think I
national
still have
security.
the floor.
Yes.
Yes.
Huling katanungan. Alam po niyo yung security of state sa amin. Ito po yung sinabi niyo na empleyado ng Senado ang nagbigay. Sa amin, yan po ay seguridad ng ating institusyon, seguridad ng ating bayan. So kaya po, ito po ay hindi niyo po pwede i-cite ang Sotolo. Mabuti po, malaman niyo na po ang posisyon. At ito'y pinag-aralan po natin, may abogado po kayo, meron din po kami mga abogado dito, may mga researchers po kami. At ang Sotolo ay hindi po applicable dito sa sinasite nyo. Sa tatlong tinanong ko, pare-pareho, hindi ho pa pwede yan. The Honorable J.J.
Thank you very
Suarez,
much.
you are
Th-
recognized.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So let's just go back to points that have already been established. Number one, the statement that you issued were false. You admitted it and you apologized for it last hearing. Number two, you mentioned that your source is from Senate. And Caselis, Mr. Celis, the law that you have just stated that you sought to use to protect your right and not to reveal your source apparently has been ruled cannot be applied. So therefore, I'm asking you again, dahil may kinalaman na to, may mabigat po ang kinalaman ang repercussions nito You're talking about interparliamentary relationships between the House of Representatives and between the Senate. And none other than the Senate President has already issued a statement about this. So I don't think you see the gravity of the statements that you have issued between both houses in Congress. Now, Mr. Celis, for the last time, please identify your source.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to answer?
Mr. Chair, this is the fourth time I asked Mr. Celis this question. And every time I asked him his question, ang laki ng introduction, wala pa rin yung sagot. Pwede po ba this time, pag pinagbigyan natin siya magsalita, sabihin niya na po yung pangalan?
Kasi kung mag-introduction lang kayo, tapos i-cite nyo na naman, dinisalaw ko na. Sinasabi ko na hindi namin kayang tanggapin yung Sotolo for this particular issues. And we provided the basis for that too. Sa mga binigkas yung provision, doon ko mismo hinugot ko yung argumento namin. Ngayon, kung hindi ko yung sasagot, we will not allow you anymore. Kasi nagre-request si Congressman Suarez ng kasagutan, pangalan ang kailangan niya.
Mr. Chairman,
Magbibigay po kayo mo ng pangalan o hindi?
may I request that I be allowed to confirm with my legal counsel, please?
Oh, they're right beside you. They can confirm.
May I request for at least a
Yes.
1-minute conference with them?
Please.
Grabe, gigil na gigil sila kay Ka Eric no? Grabe itong mga to. Gigil na gigil sila malaman yung source. Samantalang yung mga ibang mainstream media dyan, na puro kasinungalingan ng iniimbento sa ating gobyerno, sinisiraan pa tayo sa ibang bansa. Wala silang pakialam. Pero ito, tulong-tulong sila, parang bayanihan ng puta, parang nagbubuhat ng bahay. Grabe nung tapang ka,
Mr.
Eric.
Chairman,
Ay,
may I
Session
be recognized
resumes.
again, please?
Okay, please proceed.
In our constitutional democracy,
Hindi.
only the courts can interpret the laws, not Congress.
Okay.
So I will not answer that question because I believe Congress does not have the right to interpret laws.
Okay.
It
Mr.
is
Chair.
with
Mr. Chair.
Congress to pass laws, not to interpret laws.
Salamat
Chair.
po.
I make back my statements previously.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, the Honorable Toby Chanco is recognized.
Mr. Chair, in the sense of fairness, since we really want to know the source, para malaman natin kung ano talaga yung pinagkakalat nito, would we allow Mr. Celis, Ka Eric, to reveal the source in executive session.
Executive
Would the
talaga
chair
yun.
allow?
Executive.
Yes, Eric.
No, no, no.
It's an executive session, an option for you. There's a suggestion by the Honorable Toby Chanco of
No.
Nabotas
No.
na kung ayaw niyo po sabihin sa harap ng camera at sa publiko, okay lang ba, executive session? We will call for executive session now. Para lahat ho ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo.
No.
Eric.
That's a trap.
That would be very dangerous for other
Yes.
media practitioners present here because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedence on the protection of source provided by law. I will refuse this. Your Honor,
Salamat po.
Nice.
Mr. Chair,
Bright.
The Honorable Toby Chanco still recognized for a follow-up question.
No, I just wanted to manifest that the reason that we're suggesting an executive session is to show na tayo naman, hindi naman tayo na binibigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na i-reveal. Kung talagang gusto niya pangalagaan, at least an executive session. But it seems ayaw niya pa rin po, Mr. Chair.
No, kasi kahit
Mr. Chair,
mag-executive
it is
session,
very clear that Mr. Celis
sasabihin nila
does
yan.
not want to answer the question to reveal the source, whether in this inquiry or in executive session. So therefore, Mr. Chair,
I move to contempt.
under Section 11, the power to contempt, letter E, grounds for contempt is for a resource person refusal to answer any relevant inquiry. Actually, Mr. Chair, Mr. Celis has already violated two provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one, which is very more important rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr.
Tayo
Chair,
ba contempt na? Cite to
I
contempt.
move
Yan.
to contempt,
Diyan kayo nagmukhang
to
pape.
cite for contempt,
Diyan kayo
Mr.
nagmukhang
Celis,
katawa-tawa
on
sa mga
these,
Pilipino.
two grounds under Section
Sorry,
11.
sorry.
So move, Mr. Chair.
O mag-second, third
Second
demotion na
demotion.
kayo. Yan. O, contempt na. Contempt. O, dyan nyo
There's a
pinatunayan
motion, duly seconded,
na
any
talagang walang
objections
mangyayari.
from any member. Mr.
Walang
Chairman,
ginagawa yung mga yan,
there
kundi
being no objections
itilin na.
on a
Ang
unanimous
nagmamahal
vote,
kalayaan.
Eric is cited for
Mr.
Chairman,
may I be recognized?
ask the Sergeant of Arms to please
Mr. Chairman,
take on.
Mr. Chair,
Eric.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
nagmamadali ba si Ka, Eric?
Can we request the Sergeant at Arms to
Mr.
practice
Chair,
his responsibility after the hearing? Because there's still other details that
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, point of order. The motion was for Mr. Celis to be cited in contempt. And I think there's supposed to be a second motion. Yes. No, the motion should be for him to be detained. Where? Because under our law, the contempt of the committee shall be deemed contempt of the House. The person cited in this section may, upon order of the committee, be detained in such place as the chairperson or acting chairperson may designate. In other words, we have to decide where to detain him
Muntinlupa
and
nyo
for
na.
how long, Mr. Chair. That's
Muntinlupa
supposed
nyo
to be
na.
the second motion.
Tatanungin nyo pa yun, Tragis.
Mr. Chair,
Takutin nyo ng
I
takutin.
believe with regards to the duration, it will be up to this committee to decide and of course to Mr. Celis kung kailan po niyo sasagutin yung tanong natin, and then maybe we could lift the contempt. But as long as hindi pa niya sinasagot yung tanong natin, the contempt will remain.
Sige lang. Magmukha kayo mga katawa-tawa dyan.
Mr. Chairman, final statement before niyo po ako ikulong.
Mr. Chair, I move for
Can I have a
a
final statement, please? Before po ako magpapakulong, I request the committee.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In an earlier motion, Mr. Chair, we have already approved to cite for contempt Mr. Celis. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to detain him in the premises of Congress as per our rules on Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
Sana doon na sa mga maunting lupa nyo na kinontempt. Sa City Jail, yung mga ganon. Masyado naman kayong nagpabiglang parang cambio bigla.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee, may be given 1 minute,
Chairman,
please.
in relation to the motion,
Oh.
can I have
Because it is
Honor-
required.
the Honorable
two-thirds of a
Paduano.
voto.
The Honorable Paduano is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, ang point of inquiry lang, kasi we are not allowed to have a detention for indefinite period of time. So we have to establish how long. And the lifting of such detention will depend on the members of this committee, of course, with the cooperation of the person in contempt. So we have to establish how long, because we are not allowed to detain indefinite based on so many jurisprudence. Mr. Chairman.
Tangina, naniniwala kayo dyan kay matandang pimintal ang
Mr.
puta
Chair.
na kung kailan sasagot.
Mr.
Dito
Chair.
kulong yan nang ganun katagal na gusto nyo. Ayan kayo.
Mr. Chair,
Honorable Akop is recognized.
yes,
Marcel na po ba?
there's a decision
Ayun na naman si
by the
Ako.
Supreme Court that we cannot detain a person indefinitely. And therefore, may I move that we come up with a definite period for detention insofar as Mr. Celis is concerned. For violation of paragraph C of section 11 of the rules.
Ang bangis, no? Yung kakampi mo ng bayan, ikukulong. Pero yung mga kalaban ng bayan na nagtatanggol sa kaliwang grupo na nandyan sa Kongreso, kakampi nila. Ang galing ano
The
po.
Honorable Akop, would you like to make a motion?
May I move that Mr. Celis be detained for being cited in contempt for violation of section 11, paragraph C, refusal to answer any relevant inquiry by the members of this committee for a period of 30 days.
Mr. Chairman.
He will go on break on December 30 unless he files a motion for reconsideration. We have done this in the different committees already.
Mr.
Congress.
Chair,
There's a motion. The Honorable Committee.
the reason why we cited Mr. Celis for contempt is because he does not want to answer
Question.
the question. That is precisely why he violated paragraph C.
Wait lang Mr. Congressman, mas pasintabi na po. Kasi ayaw niyang sagutin yung katanungan ni David J.J. Suarez. Pero di ba sa anti-graft din, merong sinisigaw ang taong bayan. Nasaan ang inyong resibo? Nasaan yung mga pinaggastusan nyo sa extraordinary funds? Di ba? Karapatan din naming magtanong sa inyo pero hindi kayo sumasagot. Sino ang hindi sumusunod sa batas? Dahil kayo ngayon ang nasa kapangyarihan? Mawalang galang na po. Kung ito po yung mga kongresista nyo, please naman. Ganyan pa rin ba ang gusto nyong mamahala sa 2025 sa inyong mga distrito? Ang lakas ng loob nyong magsalita na ayaw niyang makipag-cooperate sa mga tanong. Kaya yung siya ikinontempt. Samantalang kayo, milyong-milyong Pilipino ang naghahanap ng resibo, wala kayong maisagot kundi certification. Anak ng patunga sa manok.
So why will we give him a timeline? Kung kahit na hindi pala siya sumagot, papalabasin natin si Mr. Celis. The reason why we cited him for contempt, gusto nga natin nasagutin niya yung relevant inquiry natin, nasagutin niya kung sino yung source niya. So I believe that we should not give a timeline, Mr. Chair.
After
Mr. Chairman,
citing
Mr. Chairman.
the jurisprudence, Mr. Chair, I submit to the wisdom of this committee.
Mr. Chairman,
Kita nyo, si Ka Eric nagmamadali makulong. Kayo, hindi kayo makapag-desisyon kung hanggang kailan nyo ikukulong. Paktay! Tago na naman! Kasi why? Alam nyo, lalabag kayo sa batas. Diyan sa mga gusto nyong mangyari. Oh, ha? Ala ka na. Ulitin ko po ang tanong. Ngayon, sino po ang presidente natin? Nagtatanong lang po sino po ang presidente na pininiwalaan natin? Sino ang kinante ni Ka Eric? Ganyan. Kaya ako'y nagtatanong martial law na po ba? Ito po ba'y martial law na? Kaya raw kinuntip dahil ayaw makipag-cooperate. Samantalang kayo, hindi kayo nakikipag-cooperate sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Sa ginawa nyong yan kay Ka Eric, pinatunayan nyo lang, pasintabi na kayo'y mga puppet ng liderato. Kita nyo, ginawa sa inyo Ka Eric, kanina pa, umpisa pa lang siya nyo, i-contempt nyo ako, so be it. Tita mo, tumatayo na nga siya. Kayo lang yung pigil ng pigil hanggang nag-adjourn muna kayo para pagmitingan kung gaano katagal. Di ba kayo nahihiya? O ngayon, na-contempt nyo na si Ka Eric. Ang pinagdedebatihan na lang ninyo dyan, kayong mga honorable, kung hanggang kailan. Si Tatang Johnny, ang gusto niya, indefinite. Di ba? Yung iba naman, alam nila, malalabag yung saligang batas. So ngayon, anong gagawin nyo? Mukhang mag-uusap-usap kayo, tatanungin nyo muna yung leader.
Before I acknowledge the Honorable Pimentel, the due process was given to the witness and he was allowed to speak. And he cited his grounds why, as a matter of fact, we gave him so much airtime that he manifested his refusal to the question of the Honorable Suarez 4 times. And so that being said, the chair would like to call the Honorable Pimentel to manifest his the motion on the time frame.
Mr. Chair, I would like to amend my previous motion. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to detain Mr. Celis for he was cited in contempt until the adoption of the committee report at the plenary session, Mr. Chair. So move.
Okay, so that is also an amendment to the motion of the Honorable Akop early on. There's a motion amending the motion of the Honorable Akop. Any second? Seconded? The chair hearing no objection, the chair adopts and approves the motion of the Honorable Johnny Pimentel. So the Sergeant of Arms is hereby directed to enforce the decision of this committee. Maraming
Mr. Chair,
salamat.
can I make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Alam mo, Congressman Gas Tambunting,
Session suspended.
parang ayaw mo siya ipakontempt Nice. Ka Eric! Oy, bakit tinanggal nyo? Ayaw nyo makita ng taong bayan. Ayaw nyo makita ng taong bayan yung kalokohan ginawa nyo. Mabuhay ka kay Eric. Mahal na mahal ka ng mga Pilipino. Dito lang talaga natin napapatunayan kung sino talaga yung may totoong pagmamahal sa Pilipinas. Yung lumalaban para sa bayan. Kaya tama-tama yung segment nyo sa SMNI, yung laban para sa bayan. Kaya nga, di ba, nung magkakasama tayo, sinabi ko sa inyo, kasama nyo ako. Dahil nakita ko yung kanilang prinsipyo at dignidad. Never silang kayang takutin para sa Pilipinas. Etong mga magigiting nating kongresista, pasintabi na po. Uulitin ko lang, yan po ay sumuko, dating kadre. Bumaba sa bundok, nakipag-isa sa gobyerno para labanan ang makakaliwang grupo na dati niyang mga kasamahan. Itinuturo, inunguso, lahat na nakatibayan. Sinabi na sa inyo, yung tatlong kasama nyo sa Kongreso.
Attorney
Pero
Suplico,
wala.
to brief
Ganun pa
Attorney
rin.
Tolentino
Wala nga.
of the House Rules. You're very much aware and well versed with the rules
Yeah.
of this House.
Because Attorney Supico used to be implemented some of the rules that we are now implementing. As a matter of fact, in one of the invitations that he was the resource person, sabi ko nga, nung bata ako, narinig ko ng pangalan na Rolex Suplico. Elementary pa lang ako. Ganyan ho kasikat yan. Kaya lahat ho ng ginagawa namin, si Atty. Suplico rin ho, alam ho niya lahat yan. Okay? Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair,
Okay,
I
we now
think
proceed.
yes, I think I still do.
Okay lang ha. Hindi, totoo naman sinabi nyo. Alam ni Atty. Rolex Suplico yan. Yung mga rules. Alam ni Atty. Rolex yung rules. Pero yung mga ginagawa nyo, hindi nila ginawa yan nung panahon nila. Yun yung pagkakaiba.
Do have the floor.
Still with the Honorable J.J. Suarez.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, can the chair please reiterate the due process that the committee followed in relation to the contempt order that was issued against Mr. Celis? Isa-isa lang natin para klaro.
There was he was allowed to speak. 4 times you asked the question. The Honorable Suarez asked the question. 4 times he refused to reply.
Pero kami,
And,
gusto namin
we
malaman,
even-
nasa yung
the Honorable
extraordinary
Chairman
funds yun,
afforded
hindi mo
him
pinapansin.
a executive session, and again he refused. So obviously he will refuse to answer any question that the Honorable Suarez will ask, and he would always cite a law which is unacceptable to this committee because it does not it is not the intent of that law
Okay.
to
So, nakita nyo na. Diyan, lalo na sa mga mainstream media. Alam nyo kasi kung nagsalita si Kay Eric ng mga source niya, yung mga source din na nagbibigay sa inyo ng mga ibabalita nyo, mga scoop, makakaba na rin sila magbigay sa inyo. Executive meeting, sabi niya, mas dangerous nga, sabi nga ni Kay Eric, pag executive meeting. Why? Kasi hindi malalaman ng publiko, pero malalaman. Hindi natin sinasabing etong mga to ay politikong trapo. Eh syempre, meron dyan mga, alam nyo na, mga nananamantala, mas mahirap. So, sa inyo sa mainstream media, sa ngayon, wala kayong problema dahil kayo ay nasa pangangalaga ng babaeng presidente. So, wala kayong source. Yung source nyo, buhay hari din yan.
he cannot hide under that law.
Thank you
That's
very
what the
much.
committee is saying.
Yeah, the reason why I asked Mr. Chair is because, going back to our last
And
hearing,
lastly, he was given a counsel.
thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
last hearing kasi, inamin niya na mali yung source niya at humingi na siya ng paumanhin. So para gamitin pa yung SOTO law, it's not anymore applicable to him because sinabi niya ng mali. Ang hinihingi na lang natin kung sino. Kung sino dahil may kinalaman po ito sa relasyon ng mababang kapulungan at ng Senado. At pati po Senado, I won't be surprised kung kayo po ay magpupumilit na hindi magsasabi ng totoo, I won't be surprised if the Senate might conduct their own inquiry into this matter as well. Because you have already involved the Senate into this misinformation and fake news. So, Attorney Tolentino, as counsel to Mr. Celis, are you willing to cooperate with the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Earlier, I was a little bit offended. Your client stood up and uttered some words. Are you supportive with that, with your clients?
I'd like to apologize.
Do you share the same sentiment as your client, Attorney Tolentino?
What statement, Mr. Chair?
When he called the court the kangaroo court, when he called this committee a kangaroo,
Maybe that's his opinion, Mr. Chair.
and you do not share it,
No, Mr. Chair.
do you think it is right?
I cannot answer that, Mr. Chair, because I didn't feel there is attorney-client privilege. I cannot talk if not authorized by a client, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So anyway, Mr. Tolentino, as counsel to Mr. Celis, would you be kind enough to share with us any information regarding the source of that misinformation, fake news that SMNI broadcasted in your television?
I have no personal knowledge that, Mr. Chair.
Dr. Badoy, would you have any knowledge on who the source is?
Mr. Chair, no knowledge at all.
Do you know Mr. Celis's phone number?
Phone number. Yeah, I have his number here.
Would you be kind enough to share it with this committee?
Am I allowed? Mr. Chairman, could I ask my lawyers if I could do that?
Yes, I mean,
It's in the guest list. Alright, so I'll give it. Okay, so I'm allowed. Okay. Mr. Chair, it's in the guest list outside. Yeah, all of us.
again,
Can you just,
The number, Mr.
Okay,
can
Chair.
you just tell
Nasa
us the
guest
number,
list, pag
please?
pumapasok kami dyan, sinusulat namin
As
lahat eh.
requested
Nasa
by the
guest
Honorable
list na yung
Suarez.
mga telepono namin.
Yeah, okay. Right now, Mr. Chair. Mr.
Yes.
Chair, it's 09.
Sige, please. Can you please, approach?
Wag mo sabihin, Doc Lorraine ng in public. Baka mamaya lahat yan tumawag kay Ka Eric. Woo! I love you, Ka Eric. Saludong-saludo po ang mga Pilipino sa inyo. Yung tapang nyo, yung paniniwala nyo, grabe talaga. O baka naman magte-text kayo kay Ka Eric na sorry ha, sorry na talaga. Ay nako, kawawang bansa natin. Wala na talaga, wala na pwedeng mangyaring maganda sa mga gantong klase ng So ngayon, nakakulong na si Ka Eric. Bababa na po ang presyo ng bigas. Bababa
very
na
much,
po ang
Mr.
presyo
Chair.
ng
Mr.
gasolina.
Chair, the reason why I asked for those phone numbers is other than citing the source of Mr. Celis emanating from the Senate, he mentioned that he also received a text message supporting that claim on Monday. And if I'm not mistaken, the date would have been November 27, but I'll have to check my records. Mr. Chair, can I move to subpoena the text messages of that phone number? Just to know whether or not meron po ba talagang pumasok na text na nagsasabi na ganito kalaking kahalaga ang ginastos ng House of Representatives. Kasi kung lalabas sa phone
Personal
records
number nyo,
na walang
naman ng
text
Kongreso.
at
Dahil
ayaw
lang doon.
sabihin ni Mr. Celis yung pangalan, maaaring gawa-gawa lang itong mga pinag-uusapan natin dito at walang basehan. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we subpoena the messages from these two phone numbers on the specific date when those broadcasts was aired on SMNI. So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion by the Honorable David J.J. Suarez, seconded by the Honorable Vice Chair Johnny Pimentel. Any objections? The chair, any objections? The motion is approved. We will now proceed. Okay, now we can proceed to other.
Yes, just for the information of the body, Mr. Chair, it is on 11/27, November 27, 2023, and the show was aired, I think at 10 in the 10 in the evening, correct? Morning, 10 in the morning. So, with that being said, Attorney Tolentino, can I just ask, nasa na po yung,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
yes, yung presidente ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair, actually he wants to come here, Mr. Chair, but he has he's sick right now, Mr. Chair. I have with me a medical certificate, Mr. Chair.
So, but you will be speaking on his behalf?
Yes, Mr. Chair, but of course I have a limited authority, Mr. Chair.
So, okay, anyway, Mr. Chair, if I may proceed, just a few questions and I'll give it to the other congressmen who have more questions.
Thank you.
to ask.
May I ask
Can I
if you,
just one question?
yes, before that, when you said you have limited authority, what does that mean?
I am here, Mr. Chair, as legal officer of SMNI.
So,
I can only talk based on my personal knowledge, Mr. Chair. I cannot talk anything that I do not know, Mr. Chair.
how about the attorney Rolex Suplico? So if he knows half, you should know the other half.
The same, Your Honor. We are only legal officers of SMNI. Mr. Rossetti is the president of SMNI. Definitely, there are information that he knows that we do not know.
Okay, so if you
Thank you, Your
don't, okay, let us make this clear. If we're not satisfied with your answers, then we will call for another hearing in a couple of days just for this issue. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Can
Honorable Suarez.
Can we be kind enough to be given a copy of that medical certificate that you're talking about, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
And now, Mr. Chair. Sana. Okay. Ano? Thanks. Yes. Mr. Chair, the medical certificate is with the secretary who is now with Ka-Eric, Mr. Chair. With the secretary of SMNI who is now with Ka-Eric.
Why is the secretary with Ka Eric when
He, we did,
he wasn't, he or she wasn't cited in contempt? That's only Ka Eric.
She's on the way.
Anyway, pwede nyo naman ibigay siguro mamaya. Para lang.
yes, we will not adjourn this hearing or
So-
suspend it until we get that copy of the certificate. Oh,
Sige, Mr. Chair.
thank you,
Oh,
please.
submit na lang. Thank you, Attorney Tolentino. Attorney Tolentino, how long have you been serving as counsel for SMNI?
May more than 2 or 3 years, Mr. Chair.
So in any major decision that the network takes, I'm sure they seek your advice.
Just an advice, Mr. Chair.
Okay, fantastic. I just came across some posts of SMNI partnering with the Chinese government network. Is this correct?
I have no personal knowledge with that, Mr. Chair.
But you're the lawyer of SMNI.
I only know something that is relevant to the investigation, Mr. Chair. I didn't know about that, Mr. Chair.
No, but it's all over the SMNI Facebook, well, SMNI Twitter and news report that you have partnered with the Chinese government national TV. So
I'll try my best, Mr. Chair, to answer only answers that I know personally, Mr. Chair.
and you have no knowledge of that.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So how do you serve as counsel when something such as big between two networks cooperating and you have no knowledge of it whatsoever? I don't understand how that relationship works. Kasi
Because I'm not the only lawyer,
kung
Mr.
sabihin
Chair.
na may kinalaman sa dalawang korporasyon at ikaw ang abogado, hihingi ka ng legal advice, legal opinion, due diligence, bago pumasok sa anumang kasunduan. Inamin mo kanina na ikaw ang legal counsel for the past
Yes.
3 years.
But I am not the
At
only legal
Dito
counsel, Mr. Chair.
lumabas sa kayo na mismo ang naglabas ha, hindi lumabas ng iba. Na merong kasunduan ang inyong dalawang network. So gusto ko pong malaman kung ano pong ang kasunduang ito.
The best person to answer that, Mr. Chair, is the president of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we will take note of that statement and we will call for another hearing this week. Since magalang naman yung ano niya, I hope he's well by then.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
So everything that you do not answer, we will bring up in the next hearing. Let us be clear, huh? And more questions. So I suggest, kung alam niyo naman po, para matapos na po yung issue.
Based on my information, Mr. Chair, the agreement with the Chinese company is not SMNI or the Suara Sub, but it's SMNI Foundation. That's a different company, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So insofar as it's SMNI and alam niyo pwede
And
na lang
it's-
pong
and-
Attorney Tolentino, pwede niyo na lang pong pagsalitain yung bumubulong sa inyo. Pwede po namin i-recognize para mas madali.
I'm the one authorized to talk in behalf of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So again,
So the agreement with Chinese company, based on my information, Mr. Chair, is not yet concluded, Mr. Chair. It's still in the process of negotiation.
so is there any documents that would legitimize your statement?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will submit that next session, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So please submit it to us. So what you're saying is number one, it's not SMNI Suarezug,
Yes, but SMNI Foundation, Mr. Chair.
but in the news articles that I've read, there was a statement that there will be shared information and production and other shows. So ano pong lalabas doon?
That's why, Mr. Chair, we will submit all available documents, Mr. Chair, if any, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Suarez is, thank you very much. I'd like to ask the COMSEC to please acknowledge first our guest before we proceed to the next interpreter. There are members who arrived today. Please.
With the permission of the chairman, the following members are also present in today's hearing. Minority Floor Leader Marcelino Libanan, Representative Jose S. Aquino II, Representative Margarita Ignacia Nograles, Representative Ivan Howard Ginto, Representative Joseph Gilbert Biolago, Deputy Minority Leader Franz L. Castro. We also have Representative Jefferson Conghon. Your honors.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Committee of Franchise. The next interpreter is the Vice Chair of the committee, the Honorable Johnny Pimentel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated by the chairperson, Honorable Gaston Bunting, the Committee on Legislative Franchises will pursue its mandate to deliberate on matters referred to its jurisdiction relating to the granting, amendment, extension, or revocation of legislative franchises. In proceeding with this mandate, the committee will exercise its oversight function to determine whether or not the laws passed upon it are being implemented and carried out in accordance with the intent of Congress. This authority is expressly provided under Article 6, Section 21
Yan
of the
na,
Constitution
papatanggal naman nila yung
provides
prangkisa,
that the
pero
chairman
habang
of
pa
the
ng
House
Senado
of
yan, di sila basta-basta
Representatives
pwede magtanggal.
or any of its respective committees may conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with its duly published rules of procedure, and the rights of persons appearing in or affected by such inquiries shall be respected. The committee is presently conducting this hearing upon the initiative of the proponents to look into the franchise of Suarezug Media Corporation and determine whether the terms and conditions therein are complied with. We invited relevant government agencies, the grantee, and stakeholders to assist us in proceeding with the investigation, as we will give all parties the opportunity to present this committee their respective position on the matter in adherence to due process. The committee will not suppress any rights, nor will endeavor to intimidate our guests and resource persons that we invited purposely to assist us in pursuing our mandate. Kami po ay narito para bigyan linaw ang mga issue patungkol sa pagsunod sa mga batas na ating pinasa sa Kongreso para sa ating serbisyo bayan. Let me cite the affirmation from the Supreme Court that a franchise right is a special privilege and certain conditions are imposed particularly to safeguard it against abuses. The committee is being criticized of zeroing in on the statements of anchor person Eric Celis regarding the travel expense of the speaker, which we have established to be inaccurate. And Mr. Celis even admitted that he did not verify the information he received. Let me clarify that we are not focusing on this matter, and the committee is also considering other issues in reviewing the franchise of Suarezug. The grantee asserted that it already obtained a vested right by virtue of the franchise grant and cannot be taken away without due process. But may I also remind you that the very franchise recognized the authority of Congress to amend, alter, or repeal the grant when the public interest so requires, and this hearing is being conducted to accord the grantee the opportunity to address the call for the revocation of the franchise. Mr. Chair, during the last hearing, we deliberated, we discussed on the possible violations of Suarezug on their franchise. Republic Act 11422, especially on sections 4, responsibility to the public, section 10, sale, lease, transfer, grant of use of or assignment of franchise.
Yung mga galawan na yung mga tools, tama nga yung sinasabi natin, di ba? Pag hindi kayang bilhin o tapalan, kailangan tanggalin. So ngayon, alam na namin kung saan pupunta to. Tanggalin ang prangkisa kung saan nakakapagsalita ang dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Grabe, di ba? Kaya maraming takot ngayon kasi ganito ang gagawin pag hindi ka sumunod sa babae presidente at doon sa pinsan na sinabi. Yan po ang totoong nangyayari. Kaya doon po sa nagsasabi ako ay maligtad. So, kasi mas gusto kong buo ang bayan ko at hindi ito masira. Wala akong pakialam kung mag-unsubscribe yung iba sa akin. No, no po sa akin yan. Basta tatayo ako sa katotohanan. Itong bibig na to hindi magpapatigil. Hindi magpapapigil at hindi magpapabayad. Never kong gagawin yan. Hindi ako takot na mawala ng followers. Hindi ako katulad ng mga vlogger dito na ipibaby kayo para hindi ka tumal sa kanila. No. Dahil kung mahal nyo yung bayan nyo, mas maniniwala kayo sa kapwa nyo na nagmamahal din sa bayan nyo. Hindi kung kaligan yung sumisip-sip sa politika.
Bodies. I have in my possession some of the cases, Mr. Chair. One, Concepcion, Empeño, Erlinda, Catapan, and Cristina Palabay versus Suarasug Media Corporation. Docket number case number 2022-027. It was filed at the National Telecommunication Commission on June 2022. The complaint arises from an SMNI broadcast featuring an interview with Palparan conducted by Lorraine Badoy. In this interview, allegations were made associating Vice President Robredo, suggesting an alliance with CPP, NPA, and DF. The broadcast specifically referred to the Bicol region as being infested with such affiliations. Number 2 case, Alfonso Tomas Atom Pagaduan Arroyo versus Jeffrey K. Eric Celes and Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa. Docket number R-QZN-23-08237-CV. It was filed at the RTC Quezon City Branch 306 on September 11, 2023. The episodes mentioned in SMI accused Arroyo of being a member of the CPP, NPA, NDA, producing documentaries and participating in activities detrimental to government efforts. Case number 3. This was filed in the Professional Regulation Commission on April 11, 2022. Bonifacio Carmona versus Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa, Eleanor Hara. The complaint specifies Badoy Partosa's actions utilizing her government position to spread baseless and harmful accusations against the complainants. Case number 4, Ombudsman cases versus Lorraine Badoy. Again, this is in connection with their practice of spreading false information. Now, Mr. Chair, may I ask Lorraine Badoy, inakusahan po ninyo si former Vice President Leni Robredo claiming that she has an alliance with communists. Meron po kayong ebidensya na nagpapatunay na si former Vice President Leni Robredo ay may alyansa sa komunista because you released this statement and accused her of conniving with communists. Because if you cannot prove or you cannot present evidence, then clearly this is a testimony that indeed Lauren Badoy and Ka Eric is spreading false information which is a violation of Section 4. Kasagot po, Ma'am Badoy.
Mr. Chair, yung tungkol po sa former Vice President, yung statement po na yon ay hindi po yon personal na opinion ko. I said all those things as as the Strategic Communications Cluster Head of the National Task Force, LCAC at the time, and that was in fact the official stand of our government. Therefore, meron po siyang tinatayuan na ebidensya. Hindi ko po yun personal na opinion.
Pero kayo po ang nag-disseminate ng information na yon.
Opo.
It could be the stand of the government, but kayo po ang nag-air ng akusasyon na yon na si Robredo ay may alyansa sa komunista. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because that was part of my
So
job.
in short po, ginamit po din yung plataforma ng SMNI to spread false information. Hindi po ba?
Mr. Chair,
Because according to you, hindi galing sa inyo eh. So did you verify the report?
Mr. Chair, that came from the National Task Force, LCAC, and that was our official stand. And the LCAC is made of all these agencies in government. And kaya ko sinabi po yon, Mr. Chair, it was as my mandate bilang trabaho ko po na spokesperson na National Task Force, LCAC, na bago naglalabas ng ganyang statement, meron pong vetting process.
Okay, ma'am, meron po ba kayong dokumento to support this position of the National Task Force?
Mr. Chair, I can produce it.
Okay,
Because
can you please submit that by tomorrow to the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And we would like to see the basis. This National Task Force, this was created by whom?
The National Task Force, LCAC, Mr. Chair, is the Executive Order number 70 that was created by then President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and it was continued by the sitting President Bongbong Marcos.
So it is still in
yes.
existence, this National Task Force.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but I'm no longer part of it officially.
Thank you very much. The
Thank you,
Honorable
Mr.
Committee
Mr. Chair, as I've stated earlier, I would like to establish that SMNI is being used as a tool to spread false information. Ngayon, dito po tayo. SMNI aired an interview in its news channel wherein Ms. Badoy claimed that Ana Patricia Noon, who put up the Maguinhawa Communist Party, had also links to the communist movement. Totoo po ba ito, Mr. Badoy, Ma'am Badoy?
Mr. Chair, again, that was in official stand po ulit yon ng National Task Force, LCAC. Hindi ko po yun personal na opinion. And I can, again, Mr. Chair, submit documents and proof regarding this.
Yes, as stated by the chair, pakisubmit din po dito kung totoo po ba talaga na yun ang stand ng government because kayo po ang spokesperson at that time.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
SMNI also violated numerous provisions of 2007 Broadcaster Code of the Philippines, specifically as regards to the credibility of news sources and reports. Ito po ang palaging problema ng SMNI eh. Mr. Chair, kagaya nung sinabi ninyo na that the speaker spent 1.8 billion pesos in traveling expenses, pero during the last hearing, nung tinanong ko po si Ka Eric, eventually he admitted na mali pala ang source niya because we presented their documents and testimonies from the Secretary General and the head of the Finance Department, Bobby Maling, proving otherwise na walang katotohanan yung 1.8 billion pesos. So, Mr. Chair, clearly, as I've said, meron ho silang pattern. Well, I mentioned already 4 cases. Ngayon, sa KBP, meron din kaso ang SMNI. Now, may I ask the resource persons, ano ang nature ng kaso ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair? Yes.
Sa
Mr.
buwatan
Chair.
KBP.
No, this question is addressed
To
to
KBP.
KBP.
I'm addressing my question, Mr. Chair, to KBP.
KBP, you have the
Because,
floor. But the
As
question,
I
Mr.
said
Chair-
earlier, dahil sa daming fake news, sa daming mga maling impormasyon, na pinapalabas sa SMNI in their program, in other programs, eh marami ho nga silang kaso. Yun ho ang ina-establish ko. Because of the false informations that you are disseminating, you are faced with several cases proving na marami kayong hinaras, marami kayong minalign, marami kayong sinira ng mga reputasyon using false information. Yun po ang gusto kong i-prove dito sa hearing, Mr. Chair.
Dako po, Congressman Johnny, kung marami lang reputasyon na sira, eh yung malalaking mainstream media, sama niyo na yung Rappler. Pasintabi na po dyan sa KBP. Yung KBP, Diyos ko, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. Kung kayo'y magpapagamit, baka sa susunod, sa makalawa, kayo naman ang bibirahin. So be careful what you wish for.
Mr. Chair, my manifestation is related to the question, Mr. Chair.
May
Again, Mr.
it's very
Chair.
specific. It is a KBP.
Specific.
Okay, so KBP is recognized.
Meron pong kaso sa KBP ang SMNI. Ano yung kasong yun?
Mr. Chair, the complaint was received only today.
Can you please speak closer to the microphone? Thank you.
The complaint from a certain Mr. Luis C. Biraugo was received only today. In fact, I was informed of it only on my way to the hearing. The complaint involves
Grabe, nakita niya ha? Sabi ni Congressman Johnny, may mga kaso raw sa KBP. Etong presidente ng KBP, ngayon niya lang na-receive. What? How ironic. Diba? May kaso raw sa KBP, tapos ngayon lang nakita ng KBP president yung kaso. Hindi niya alam, halatang hindi niya alam eh. Babasahin niya ngayon, dun sa kanyang MacBook ba yan?
violation of the broadcast code, particularly on airing of unverified reports. Personal attack intended to malign, unfair, criticize, or attack a person, natural or juridical.
Nagkakabulungan na. Kita mo, hindi niya alam kung ano yung kaso, binabasa niyo. Ang bagal eh. Ang bagal, nakita niyo? Ay nako. Eh kung talagang tayo nagbubulag-bulagan at naniniwala pa rin tayo na itong bayan na to ay may pagbangon at may kauunlad, eh wala na tayong magagawa. Kita nyo ha, sa dami ng mainstream media na sumisira sa mga Marcos noon, ngayon lahat sila tahimik. Ilang araw nang wala ang Pangulo, bakit hindi nag-iingay ang mainstream media? Bakit yung mga dilawan na dating nasaan hashtag nasaan ang Pangulo, wala na rin? Ngayon kayo mag-isip kung bakit ako nabudol. Ngayon yung sa akin sabihin na ako'y bumaligtad na at walang paninindigan. Tita Luz Morishima, maganda. Ano to, parang nami-personal na? Wala po tayong magagawa. Uulitin ko, siguro naman hindi ngayon ko lang to sinabi, na pag hindi kayang bayaran, tanggalin ang prangkisa, patahimikin, o 6 feet below under. Mamili na lang ako dun sa tatlo. Eh, hindi naman lang ako babayaran, siguro yung pangatlo na lang. Yung 6 feet below the ground daw.
Speech or action likely to incite any person to violence or antisocial behavior, vulgar, obscene, or indecent language. Use of vulgar, obscene, or indecent language. And then use of language.
Kita ko nagbabasa na lang, yan ang presidente po ng PPP. Eh, kung tama lang, kung tama ako, pagkaka-remind ko sa akin.
May we inform, however, the Honorable Committee that Suarezug withdrew their membership from KBP. And we are informed only of this afternoon.
Mr. Chair, so yung complaint po ni Luis Borriago, ganun din po, hindi po ba? Maling mga impormasyon and maligning the complainant. And yung...
At nga pala, Di ba ang sinasabi nga nung iba mga nagbubulag-bulagan na ako raw ay walang paninindigan. Eh di mas lalo na itong mga kongresista na to. Dati to, nung dating administrasyon, nandun sila. Ngayon, sa sobrang takot na mabulgar sila at hindi sila mabigyan ng budget, naglipatan lahat kay Tambi. Tsaka doon sa partido ng presidente. Lahat sila ngayon, pinapaikot ng babaeng presidente. Ang sarap na may paninindigan. Kahit sino pwede mong banggain. Kahit sino pwede mong i-komentarista. Pwede mo silang pwede kang anong tawag doon? Mambalahura sa kanila. Kasi wala kang bayad. Pansinin niyo yung iba. Ang gaganda ng sinasabi. Puro magaganda kahit wala namang magandang sasabihin. Di ba? Dati parang bumalik, dati pinatahimik ni Marcos mga TV network, ngayon bumalik. Kaya nga po tayo nagtatanong, ako po nagtatanong lang, mga magagaling naming mga kongresista. Martial law na po ba?
Request po niya is to revoke the license of Suarasug based on these unconfirmed reports. Hindi po.
Ayan na, inuunti-unti na ni Congressman Pimentel. Ang gusto niya mangyari, yung nagre-reklamo di umano sa KBP is to revoke the license of Suarasag, or SMNI. Ayan unti-unti na yan. Okay dyan sa Net 25. Baka hindi kayo kayang bayaran din, mag-ingat-ingat na kayo. Lahat yan. Tapos kami mga vlogger. Ganun lang po kasimple yan. Para lahat ng makikita nyo sa balita, lahat ng makikita sa social media, magaganda. 72 hours na. Nasaan ang Pangulo? May COVID. Wow! Hirap talaga bumangon. Pag galing ka sa ganon.
Po ba?
The grounds being cited are the same, although the request is to determine accountability for the previous flagrant or unmistakable violations of the law and rules.
Mr. Chair.
There's also a prayer for cancellation of franchise, Your Honors.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
so thank you from KBP. Again, ang nakasaad po doon, citing violations of Section 4, responsibility to the public, and prayer for the cancellation, revocation of SMNI license. Dito naman po tayo sa MTRCB. Alam ko po, meron din hong kaso ang SMNI ho dyan. Mr. Chair, may I ask the former SecGen, Cesar Pareja, to expound or relate to us ano naman po ang nature ng kaso doon sa MTRCB ng SMNI.
Huwag mo nang itanong. Alam mo na rin naman lahat ng mga kaso. Alam nyo na lahat Kumbaga, ginagawa nyo na lang lahat ng kwento para magkaroon kayo ng justification. Wala pala ako. Huwag nyo na itanong. Kasi pinalalabas nyo lang na kunyari, ganyan-ganyan, yung tanungan-tanungan, para syempre, ma-justify nyo, pag gagawin nyo na, ang pagkukuha o pagre-revoke ng SMNI franchise. Huwag na po tayong gumawa ng sarswela. Nakakapagod na po. Sa totoo lang, nakakatawa lang po ang ginagawa nyo dyan. Wala po yan, wala yung may tutulong sa ekonomiya. Wala po talaga. Pinatunayan nyo lang na kayong lahat, hindi naman pala, wag naman, rewind. Na kayo dyan, yung iilan sa inyo, talagang puppet kayo na humihimod ng wet packs ni Tambi. Takot na takot kayo mabulgar. Akala nyo naman napaka-honorable. Yung isa dyan, si Congressman JJ, di ba may ilang milyong yan sa ombudsman dahil sa maling paggasta. Anak kayo ng patuka sa manok. Yung si Congressman Dong Gonzales, di umano. Yung kontrata niya sa Pampanga 3rd District. Grabe. Buong pamilya ang kontraktor. Wag na po tayo maglokohan. Mga ka-old school, panoorin nyo na lang sa Facebook kasi sayang na ang oras, wala nang kwenta. Pero isa lang sasabihin ko, Eric, Jeffrey Eric Celis, mabuhay ka. Saludo po ako sa inyo, sa inyong pagmamahal sa bayan. At never tayong magpapasindak kahit etong mga to ang nasa kapangyarihan. Ang totoong kapangyarihan ay hawak nating mga mamamayan. Yang mga yan, putainis, walang kapangyarihan yan. Puro yan bulag at mukhang pera. Pasintabi na po. Yan po ang katotohanan. Kaya wag na po kayong umasa na itong Pilipinas ay ibabangon ni Da Junior. Hindi na nga makabangon eh. Gumawa na lang ng COVID eh. Bahala na. Diyos ko, hindi nyo ako mapapaniwala at hindi nyo ako mauuto sa presidente na nilalaro ng pinsan at ni Smugs. Kaya kita mo, kung ang presidente nalalaro, eto pa kayang to, itong mga to, hindi susunod sa gusto ng patagong leader, wag na kayong masa. Wag na kayong masang babangon tayo. Palubog na tayo. Sasabihin lang, kasi si Duterte, kasi yung mga dilawan. Wag na po tayo magturuan. Ang mahirap sa atin, nasa harapan na natin, pero ayaw natin tignan. Kasi ang gusto lang nating makita, ay ang gusto lang nating tignan. Ang gusto niya lang marinig, ay yung gusto niyong mapakinggan. Pero kung titignan niyo to, at kayo ay nag-iisip para sa bayan, kitang-kita nyo na kung paano tayo pinaglalaruan ng ibang pulpolitikong mga trapo para pagnakawan at itago ang mga nakaw nila sa ating bayan. Ingat, nasa Facebook po. Nasa Facebook po yan ang House of Perspective. Ingat po kayo. Bye-bye. Nakakadiri.